And now I'm going to go to Cami and bear with me for a minute. Okay, hang on. Hopefully you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. And then hang on. I had this working earlier. It's like, oh, you're giving me too many things to do. Okay, here we go. Oh, really? Hang on, hang with me. Why is it doing this? Huh. Hang on, maybe I already have it open. Maybe that's what it is. Oh. Why? Oh, man. Okay, I don't know why this is not working. Okay, girls. Well, I don't know why this is not working. I had it working earlier for us. Give me one more minute. I'm bound and determined I'm going to figure this out. Oh, God. What the crap? Oh, hang on, hang on. Maybe I saved it here. I'm hoping that's where I saved it. Okay, well, I guess we're not going to hear hers, and I will just have to make sure that that I save that for you guys, and I'll post. Sorry, are you guys still with me? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, good. Okay, I don't know why that's not playing, so we'll just wing it, and I'll make sure that I find that audio. I'm wondering if it's because I'm trying to play it from Zoom, and that's not liking it. But I had it working earlier. Dang it. So anyway, we'll just go in and talk about, we'll go straight to vendor events because that's, you know, where this time of year you'll start hearing a lot of people share vendor events, and it's a great way to make new contacts. But I told the girls at the team meeting, I was like, you know, it's one of those things where you can't go into a vendor event and thinking that you're going to get a lot of sales, because realistically it just won't happen. There have been some that I've walked away with and I'm like, oh, that was very profitable. But the majority of the time, you know, you'll collect very few sales. So I have some tips for you that will, you know, that can help with those. So typically we usually say, you know, if it's more than $50, reconsider even doing that event. I usually like to ask them how long have they been running the event, how is it marketed, things like that. Because if it's their first one, it probably won't go so well. Just because they, you know, they don't know what they're doing. But it is what it is. So whenever you get into a situation like that where it's a first one or maybe a second annual one, or if you just get to a vendor event and it's completely flopped, you want to definitely make sure that you are making connections with the other vendors there. And a lot of times that is where my sales will come from. We always suggest that you, hang on a second, what? I can't help you. I'm on this call. Thank you. We always say, like, go around and talk with the other vendors, you know, help them set up. I'm guilty of closing down a little bit earlier, like starting to unpack or pack up my stuff whenever there's like 30 minutes to go. So if you do that, then again, kind of go back around to the vendors and offer to help them close up their shop as well. But we always talk about, so we said before, just knowing what their level of commitment is to the vendor event. I really hate it whenever they make events and then they're like, okay, go on and add all your people. And you're like, well, I don't know if any of my people are going to come. I thought this was a public thing and you were going to advertise to the public, not necessarily me advertise to all my friends, even though that's a great way to do it. But you definitely want the public attention there too. The day of the event, we definitely say get there a little bit earlier, have your signs, make your table a theme. So it's going to be pretty easy this time of year because you can do fall and then you can do Christmas setup. But make sure that your theme is on the table and it doesn't look like a yard sale. I use Pampered Chef boxes. So you know how we have all different size boxes. I will use those as like to give my things height because I think the boxes are pretty and it's free signage. You necessarily don't have to have a big banner or anything because it already has Pampered Chef on it. So I use those. I've also used, you know, the locker things that you put inside kids' lockers. They're metal and you can use them for stackables. I have those and I tie them together with those zip ties and make one large shelf. So that's an easy, cheap thing to do. I got my last set from Dollar General for like, I think they had them like 60% off or whatever. So that can be kind of height wise. I like giving height. Oh, and I'll use, you know, the bed risers. You can get them at Target or you can get them at Walmart, but they're little plastic feet looking thing that you put on a bed to make it higher. You can find it in like the laundry section of those stores, but it just gives it height. So they come set of 4. So I get those and set my table on top of that. So that again, I'm giving it more height. And then I'll usually have like a picture frame of like the special or something like that. You could also get a 3-ring binder and have your catalog cut open and laminate the pages or whatever and put that in there again with a special so that way you kind of have like your booking binder. And then they suggest that whenever you are setting up your table, necessarily don't put your catalogs all pretty, kind of have them scattered around the table because they say that if you have it neatly like that, then people are less likely to grab your book because they don't want to mess up your display. So don't make that part look too neat. If you have business cards, of course, that's great. There's a little app that's called, oh gosh, what's it called? Shuffle. And it's, if you guys are on that Directly Social page, and if you're not on the Directly Social page on Facebook, Melissa Feetsum, she has some great ideas on there. But that's one of hers. It's a little app that you can put your business card on, or you can make host coaching cards, and it's just easy for you to text that out to them. So I like doing that at vendor events because I have a million business cards and I wind up usually throwing them away. But if you have something like that you could just text them, and then plus you already have their contact information. Let's see. I always have a backup plan. So let's say I did book a vendor event and it kind of flopped. I had this happen to me last year, but I have a small microwave that I bought off of a buy sell trade web thing for like $20. And I just take the popcorn maker and I made popcorn, and I sold a popcorn maker to every single one of the vendors that were there. So that's always a backup plan. something that you can chop or bring people over to the table to have them test out. I know Katie does salad in a bowl, and she'll have them come over and chop up the salad with her salad chopper. So that's an idea for you too. We talked about what to wear at vendor shows, and we also combined this with what to wear at cooking shows. Logo wear is always good, and I'm a jean girl, so I like my jeans and I like my ripped up jeans. And you can necessarily, you don't want to wear like a Nirvana t-shirt and some ripped up jeans, but you can wear a really cute button-up jean with some style, or button-up shirt with some stylish jeans, a logo shirt with some khakis, something like that. You just want to make sure that your shirt looks like, you haven't washed it in a few days or whatever. So I don't think that we would ever have a problem with anybody on our team, but you never know. And how we folded this over into our shows is I kind of go off of how the guests are dressed. So if I have somebody that sits down at the table with me to check out and she's dressed in the 9s and she's just super cute, then I know that when I go to her show, she's going to be dressed the same exact way, and probably her friends are too. So I need to dress it up a little bit. Most of the time, the only thing I wear is either a logo shirt and jeans or a really nice top and jeans. But other than that, like I said, I kind of play it off of how my guests are dressed at the show. And if you haven't met her and she's just like a random person that you booked off of and you can't remember what she looked like at the event or the show, just ask her. Say, so crazy question, but can you let me know what your outfit looks like, so that way I know what I'm going to wear. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And of course, we talked about the smile, so you always want to be smiling. At your booth, it's very important to stand in front of the table. And I've stood at many of vendor events, and my back is killing me by the end of the day. So my trick to that is I have a bar stool that I set to the side of my table, so that way when people aren't up or like coming by, I can just kind of rest on that. Because you never want to be behind your table, because then that lets people think that you aren't serious about your business. If you want something to hand to them, you can definitely print off the little recipe cards on the website, or you can get the little minis. Those are great. And of course, stamp them, or you can even put like a little sticker on that says order within 24 hours this event, get 10% off. You can also put on there your business page information and things like that, and a little giveaway if they go in like your page. So that's something that you can hand to them if you feel like you need to give them something. I just had a brain fart there for a minute. So we were talking about that. And then I never throw away old catalogs, because most of the time at vendor events, those are the catalogs that I'm going to give out. I only put a couple of the new catalogs out on the table, and I'll give my most interested people those catalogs. But for the most part, I'll just hand them an old catalog, and you can put a little sticker on there that says, I know this catalog's old, but contact me for a new one, or something like that. We were also talking about how to get people interested in your vendor booth and how to draw them in. And kids are the easiest way to draw people in. So I have a little tailgating table that I picked up from Walmart for like $35, and you can adjust the levels on it. And the first level is just right for kids, and I'll put like a tablecloth over it or whatever, and put Play-Doh on it. And our emoji cookie cutters are great for the kiddos to play with there at the table. And it's so funny to see those kids come over. It's like Play-Doh is like a kid magnet. And the parents will usually let them sit there and play for a little bit. And then that gives me a chance to talk to the parents a little bit. And so I usually have a dry erase board, or you can do a chalkboard, whatever, that says out front. I usually sit out in front of my table. And it says, struggle for dinner time, let's chat and get a free prize. And so what that is I just take my $100 basket and I sit it on the table. And if they have I'm usually like, so I always have my 4 questions. So what kind of cook are you? Are you a Rachel Ray? Are you a Peg Bundy? Are you a Wendy, or are you a Danny Tanner? And they're like, oh my gosh, okay, what are those? And I kind of tell them, okay, well, My Rachel Ray is she can cook up anything in the kitchen. My Peg Bundy is, you know, she can make it from a box, but it might not turn out just right. My Wendy is drive-through queen, and then my Danny Tanner is you have a man that cooks for you, and you are an awesome mom or something like that, or an awesome lady. And so she'll usually tell me that, and a lot of times they're like, oh, well, you know, I'm a Peg Bundy or a Wendy. I'm like, well, tell me about Wendy. Why do you feel like that that's where you're at? And then I'll usually have like the power tools, so like the grill pan, the rock crock, and we can talk about that a little bit, you know, while she's standing there. And I'll usually say, so I can totally relate to the Wendy thing. That was me before I started selling Pampered Chef. And then I figured out that I can make all these amazing meals in the microwave in less than 20 minutes, a lot more healthier and cheaper on my budget than going through a drive-through 4 times a week. And, you know, she usually agrees. So there's a little question that you can start with. And then depending on how the conversation goes, I'll say, okay, so you took time to talk to me, grab something from my $100 basket. Or from the giveaway. I don't say $100 basket there, but that's what it is. So, and usually in that, I'll have nylon spatulas, little dual-sided toothbrush, citrus peelers, the little petite measuring cups, anything like that. Anything that, you know, like if I throw orders together and I get the free gift, I'll throw that in there too. So if there is a vendor event that allows me enough space to put up another small table, I call that my power tool table. And I'll just have on like the 12-inch skillet with the mix and chop, the rock crock with the slow cooker stand. I'll have the grill pan with the salad choppers, and I'll just say, these are the 3 things that I use, you know, 5 nights a week in my house. Here's what I make in them. You could even have like a little recipe book set up there for them. But it's just easy ways to get them thinking and, you know, about dinner time for themselves. So I like doing that little table. And that's an easy setup. They're just kind of laid out there. And it's something separate from my main table. Let's see. Something that we didn't talk about at the team meeting, but whenever you do vendor events, always pack like some water and some extra snacks and stuff, because the food at those places are just ridiculous. And I get so dry whenever, or my mouth gets so dry when I'm talking to people, that I'm always like, oh man, I need a drink. So just kind of, you know, write that down. Make sure you have food and snacks for the vendor events, and you'll be good. Let's see. I usually have our little hang on, let me read what Alicia just said real quick. Would you recommend if you don't have a lot of product? Okay, so I would suggest just putting out what was in your kit, whatever kit you got, because then you can say, you can reference back to the booking recruit, or the booking or the recruiting stage. You know, this is everything that I got in my kit. It was only da da da. So you could even have like a printout of the different types of kits. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that at all. And you can decorate it up with like some, you know, a little Christmas tree or some pumpkins, you know, whatever like that. So you don't have to have a whole lot. If you have products, so like whenever I get to the end of November, 1st of December, when all the vendor fairs are going on around here, I'll take just random stuff, like stuff that nobody even wants, that I've had for years, out of my closet downstairs, and I'll just throw it on a table, because it's something about like the boxes that they see and they want to look through it, and they might buy it or they might not buy it. But just like a little section, if you have stuff like that, and you know, if they buy it, they buy it. If not, it at least gets them looking at a catalog too, and then they usually order something there. One year I did that, and I sold one. I had a batter bowl on hand there, sold that one, and then I had like 5 more people with batter bowls, and so then we just ordered them. And typically what I do for that is, if they order from a place like that, I will throw it all under one person's name, and then of course I just make sure that I get their name and address, and I usually will deliver it to them. But just throw it all under one person's name, and then collect the free gift or whatever. But the little script that I'm going from here, which is one of Melissa Feetsum's on Pinterest, and Pinterest is a great place to go if you want to look for how to design your booth and things like that. Oh, and a lot of times I'll go to like Williams-Sonoma or Crate and Barrel and look and see how they set up their tables and do that. That's where I got the box idea from, using our boxes, because I saw on a bridal booth that they had Crate and Barrel boxes used. So I was like, oh, I can totally do that too. So that's a great place. And that's a great place to go for anything like booking. I'll just type in direct sales, bookings, recruiting, marketing ideas. So Pinterest is amazing for that. And I like it because if they have a YouTube channel, they have it linked in there too. And then you can start following their YouTube channel. It's pretty amazing. The Melissa Feetsum, I love me some tag team girls, but Melissa Feetsum, I love them. Do you do mostly orders or cash carry? Mostly orders, if any. But like I'll go back to that. The hardly ever will you can't go into a vendor fair thinking that you're going to make a lot of money out of it, because it's actually the follow-up that's key. And following up with those people 24 to 48 hours is huge. And I will send you, like, I'm going to post this Tammy's stuff and her show all in one pinned post, and then I'll share in the comments what I would say to somebody that I was following up with after a vendor event. And it's usually just something like, hey, Lisa, this is Brandy, met you at Dardine Days. Your kids were so cute. I hope you enjoy the cookie cutters. That's what I sell the most of. That is what people will buy because the kids are sitting there playing with it. And I'll say, we talked a little bit about my recipe box, or if we didn't talk about it, I'll say, hey, here's a recipe box. I know that you enjoy Pampered Chef. Here's some recipes. Hopefully you can use them, something like that. Have you ever considered having a Pampered Chef party? Blah, blah. Because I'll have I have my draw slips, and I can share those with you too, or you can use the ones that come in your kit, and just have them fill those out. I usually will take a note on the back of it of like what she and I said. So like a couple of weeks ago, I did one, and the girl and I were talking, and she's like, was there still double points in January? And I was like, oh yeah. So I just put double points January, hot lead. So that way I knew that she was somebody that was definitely going to book the party. And so I followed up with her, and she's like, yep, let's do one in January. So keeping notes on the back of those is important too. So that way, whenever you are texting them, I do all text. I hardly ever have a phone conversation with anybody. But whenever you are texting them, they're like, oh, she actually remembered me. I've done it so far. I've done it where, like, if she had on a super cute shirt, then I'll say, oh my gosh, that polka dotted outfit was so super cute, whatever. Things like that stick out about that person, so that way you can go back and reference it whenever you're following up with her. All right. So where do I find most of the vendor events? Craigslist is a good place. Post on your social media if there's any upcoming vendor events that your friends might know of at their churches or their community centers. Googling like the towns around you, your churches, like a lot of churches will start doing them this time of year. Your American Legions will start doing them this time of year. So just like Google like some of your local places like that. But, always the best place to start too is just posting it on your social media account and just say, hey, I'm with Pampered Chef. I'm looking for some vendor affairs. Let me know if you hear any. And any consultants that through other companies, ask them if they have any that they're going to do, and if they're needing a Pampered Chef consultant. But churches, a lot of times this time of year, are definitely looking for them. And I would say that networking with the other vendors there is huge, because you'll get into a pattern where you especially ones that you connect with, they'll start, hey, I'm doing this vendor event. She's looking for a Pampered Chef consultant. I told her to call you, or I told her I was going to call you. So those people will start looking out for you too. We talked about keeping notes of who we met. So if you kind of like the follow-up system, so like on my little draw slips, I have the numbers 1 through 10 on how interested they are on a cooking show, on a freezer meal workshop, and then recruiting. So it's pretty easy for me to justify, or to be able to say, okay, this is a hot lead, this is kind of a lead, and then this is a cold lead. But if you're just using your slips, then maybe right on the corner, red is for hot, cold is for semi-warm, and then your green can be just like she just she just came by and filled out the slip to win something. On that note, I usually will let them know, hey, there's a drawing. You can do a brownie pan. You can tell them there's not, you don't have to tell them what for. And you can always follow up with them, hey, you didn't win the brownie pan, or you didn't win such and such, but you did win a free cooking show. And then all that is you're just bringing the ingredients to the party. So always have some kind of little drawing. And you will have those people that would just come up and enter in just to enter it in. Let's see, we talked about that. Let me get my notes. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the vendor event? The key is really just to follow up. Like once you get those leads in your hand, it's the conversation that goes past there. And the popcorn maker, if you've got a small microwave that you can easily move around, that's like a huge hit. Okay, if nobody has any questions about that, we will move on to being open for business on social media. And this is very quick. Actually, and I just had somebody message me right before we got on here, hey, Brandy, do you sell Pampered Chef? And I'm like, how do you not know that I don't sell Pampered Chef? I think I do a good job on social media, but obviously I'm not, because this girl is friends with me on Facebook and our kids play softball together. So I'm a little bit confused on why she doesn't understand that I sell Pampered.
Brandy?
Yeah.
Sorry, your voice is going in and out big time. I don't know if it's just me or not, but I didn't even get anything you said.
Okay, hang on. It's telling me that my signal was low. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it was really hard to
Yeah, I can hear you.
Are you there?
Yeah, it was like you would go good for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it would just kind of fade you out.
Oh, no. Okay. Next time somebody, start giving me, a timeout signal, so that way I know.
Okay.
Okay. It told me that my signal was low there for a minute. Okay, I put it more to the center of the room, but I'm making sure you guys can't see any of my bras or anything that I got laying here on the bed. Okay, hang on. So I was talking about social media and just being open for business, and people people messaging me and asking me, do you still sell Pampered Chef? And I'm like, I think I do a good job of posting that on social media, but obviously I'm not if people are asking me if I'm selling, right? So a couple of tips that I gave people, if you have customer groups, that's great, but post a little bit on your main pages too. Now, I'm not saying post a whole lot like you would in your group page. Like your group page, you should be at least posting in there one time a day. But on your personal page, maybe once a week, post something. And what you can say is whatever, you can post a recipe, or you can put the same post that you had in your group page over on your personal page, and just say, and make sure you follow my group page. We've got things like this going on, or, we're trying to get to 200 in our group, and I'll give a giveaway, something like that. You can tag your host for the week or whatever. You can have a host of the week and make her, post some kind of Pampered Chef Google image onto her site, so that way people are like, oh, post about your paydays on your personal page. We talked about this at the team meeting, and you never know who's watching, because they could be, just sitting back watching, see how long you're doing Pampered Chef, and then once they feel like, okay, she's got some credits, then they'll host with you, or they might even book with you. So it's important that you are posting the guest special, the recruiting special, and the host special, a couple of times through the month. And don't be worried about whether or not somebody is going to think that you're, annoying or whatever. It's super easy to skip right over. I mean, I skip over 150 It Works girls in a day. And I don't think I'm trying to find a seat now. I don't think anything of them. It's just, I'm like, hey, you know what? she's working her business, you know. So just get into a habit of posting more on your personal page too, so that way people know that you're open for business. Hang on, I flipped my notes off. Hang on. Whew, I'm just a hot mess tonight, y'all. Okay, so the next thing we talked about was, and I'm super bummed that I could not play Cammie's recording, but I'm going to get that figured out and get that up just as soon as we get off here, because it was, oh, she was good. So anyway, and let me plug in for real quick. If you are doing that 6-week course with her, it's fantastic. If I'm sure that it is not too late for everybody to get in there. I'm doing it myself. I like for somebody to hold me accountable. So I'm pretty excited about doing the homework. And so if you don't know what that is, just message me and we can get you in there. If not, I hope everybody's doing it, because it will. This is the best time of year to get that business going, because you know, I just had somebody message me today that she was thinking about Christmas presents and kind of asking me like the canning and what would be good for that. So people are starting to think about Christmas presents. They say that 40% of Americans, I am not that 40%, have all their Christmas shopping done before Halloween. I'm like, what? Yeah, I know, Alicia, right? Not me either. Like, I have mine done like December 1st, maybe. I might start then. So yeah, so you know, there are people starting to think about that. Going back to social media posts, on that Directly Social page, I cannot tell you guys how awesome this page is. And it's free. She does have an elite group that's $10 a month, but the free version is just as awesome. And she talks a lot about, especially coming through the holiday season, to offer bundles. And I noticed while I was setting up my new virtual party last week, when I was going through that Pampered Chef already has done that work for us. So if you go under marketing images, and then I think it's holiday products or something like that, they already have our holiday bundles set, and they're really cute. They're festive. So start marketing those. You could even set up a Facebook event underneath your name just for, and you could call it Pampered Chef Holiday Shopping. And so anyway, going back to the Directly Social girl, she has images that she's made. She just wants you to watermark them with your name, so that way other people don't use them too. So that way it doesn't flag them for Facebook jail. But she has some really cute marketing, like not so much like pushy Pampered Chef, but you know how they say to rotate some other pictures in there besides Pampered Chef. So she has good ones to do, and they're always themed. So like, she already has the Christmas ones done. She's working on the Thanksgiving ones, and I know that she has like the Halloween up for really cute. So definitely check out that for those. Let's talk just a few minutes about, let me see what time it is. Yeah, we'll wrap it up in just a minute. A few minutes about power hours. I always suggest 20 minutes a day doing something for your business. They like it to be an hour, but I totally get, especially people that work full-time jobs, taking care of little kiddos, things like that, because I did work this business with small kids, and I completely understand that, especially with babies, it is not easy. And it's just now getting easy with a 16 and 17-year-old, and you know, they help me out a lot with our 8-year-old. But it is rough to find that little bit of time. So just 20 minutes a day, and the best time to do that is if you are lucky enough to be a stay-at-home parent. You know, do that first thing in the morning. So like 9 o'clock is whenever I say, between 9 and 10, I want all of my contacts done for the day. So that way I'm not angry at myself by the time 5 o'clock gets around. I'm like, crap, I didn't even reach out to anybody today. So I try to get all of my Pampered Chef business done in the morning before life takes over. If you work a full-time job, and Katie did this whenever she first started, was before she would pull out of the parking lot from her office, she would have all the people that she needed to contact ready to go, so that way she can make her calls on the way home. If you don't live that far from your office, then just sit in the parking lot before you leave and just have those 10 people ready to go. Something that we say a lot of too is write down your to-do list. And I was really struggling with doing that because I felt like I needed to make my to-do list every night. and then I would forget to do my to-do list, and I'm like, well, screw it. Tomorrow's done, and I can't do anything on my to-do list because I didn't make it the night before. And at the team meeting, Katie's reading this book, and she shared with us how to do your to-do list. And Kami might have talked about this too, because I think it went together. Do it on a Sunday night and then plan it out for the rest of the week. Yes, that's what it is, because Kami even said that that's what she does. She sits down on Sunday, writes out her to-do list for the week, and so that way then she can mark it off. So I'm going to start trying that, because just the to-do list every day was a struggle for me, which is so retarded, I know. So some things that you can do in your 20 minutes. So if you're like, okay, I can do 20 minutes a day, but what do I do? Break it down into, one day you're just focused on recruiting. One day you're focused on bookings. One day you're focused on customer service. One day you're, bookings, recruiting, customer service, and and host coaching. There we go. So picking a day that you want to do all your host coaching. So typically my host coaching is on Tuesday. That's whenever I'm going to touch base with all of my hosts. That can always be the day that you set up your virtual parties. You go back in and host it. Then 6 months or later, you can check in with them, make sure their products are doing well. These little printouts that I have, hang on, I'll show you what it looks like. I don't know if you can see it. But it has like host coaching 20 minutes, and then it has a list of things that you can do. I laminated these and I put them in a 3-ring binder, so I'll post those too. But it's good because it gives you little activities, so that way you don't have to sit down at night and be like, okay, what am I going to do tonight? Like for the customer service, I've been going back into my website. So if you go into Pampered Chef, under the second tab there, I think it's it's home, and then it's something, and it's my shows. The one right before my shows. If you click that and go to contacts, and then it'll bring up all the people that have bought from you. And over to the very right, it says edit. If you click that edit, it will bring you to just their name, and there's little tabs across, and then it'll say order history, and I'll click that. And then I've just started making my contacts from there. So I can go in, I can see who they bought from, what they bought, and I'll just say, hey, I'm just touching in with everybody that's bought salad choppers over the past year. Just want to make sure that you're still loving those and we're not needing to replace any parts on those. I like doing those because a lot of times, that little ring will get rusty or whatever. I don't know if you guys have had that problem, but I've had 2 sets that do that. So it's always good to go back in and check with anybody that has salad choppers. That's always my easy to go to. The food choppers, I usually just, anything that they've ordered, I'll just say, especially if it's been a year out, I'll say, hey, I'm just checking in with all my customers that bought around the November timeframe, just making sure that you guys are still loving those products and that we don't need to get anything exchanged before the warranty's up. And, it just kind of starts a conversation like that. Like my one girl a couple of weeks ago, she was like, oh, yeah, my knife broke, but I didn't realize that there was a warranty to it, so we just threw it away. And I was like, well, did you happen to take a picture of it? And she's like, yeah. So I got it exchanged for her. You can always make up something to call somebody for just by looking at their order. And I like to, I tell Alicia this a lot. If you have like a conversation that you're wanting to start with somebody, just like text me or message me and say, okay, this is the situation. This is how I know this person, and this is what I want to talk about. Help me with the verbiage, and we can kind of go through that. Alicia does that a lot, and I love her for that. And then also on that same tab, so you got the edit, you can click notes, and you can put your notes in there too. I'm really trying to get away from all the paper stuff, and so that way I can keep track of what our conversation was and things like that. So I really love the back door of our, yes, you did just do that today, Lisa. I really like that feature. So if you're like, okay, I do not know who I'm going to contact, when I'm going to contact, or how, just go to contacts and just start with person 1 and just follow up with them. If you've been in the business not so long, you're in your 30, 60, 90 days, I think pretty much everybody on here, maybe Alicia and Jessica. I think you two are my oldest on here. And then Lindsay and Tiffany, you guys are kind of newer. 2 months. Like, go back to the last 2 months and anybody that's ordered, or last 30 days, and just say, or 2 weeks. I mean, they say it's a 2-2-2. 2 days, 24 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months is how you're supposed to stay in touch with your people. So you can go back to the people that just, bought in the last 30 days, 60 days, and just say, hey, thanks so much for ordering from Lisa's Party. I just want to make sure that everything arrives safely and that you've got it out of the box and you're using it. Is there anything else that I can help you with, or would you enjoy some extra Pampered Chef recipes? ? Always, anytime that you're reaching out to anybody, always end with a question, not a statement, because then they don't know where to go with that if you're just ending it with a period. So always make it a statement or make it a question mark. And another one that I like to say too is, hey, this is Brandy, met you at Kelly's Pampered Chef Party. I'm actually closing out her show, or I'm wrapping up her party. This party could have been 6 months ago. They do not know how our system works. And I'll say, I just want to make sure that she gets all of her host credits, and she actually gets a 50% off whenever her friends from the party host the party. What do you think about getting some girls together and, with a girls' night out, ? Or something like that. I've done that a lot because, like I said, they don't know that, as long as you use the email that the host used when she had her party, she's always going to get the 50% off. So, and if they know that they're helping out a friend, then they'll usually book a party. So yeah. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you guys any later. Does anybody have any questions? Was this helpful to anybody? And I'm so sorry that the Cami video did not work.
I actually found this video very helpful. I took probably about 2 pages of notes.
Good. I'm excited.
Well, I actually have a vendor fair coming up in the mid-November, and then I already spoke with someone today about another one that will be my second one in December.
Good deal. If you go back through our team page, the Lou Crew page, and click on the photos, I've taken a lot of pictures of ones that I've set up for. So you can kind of get some ideas there. But use Pinterest to search for, I usually type in there vendor display, something like that. Let's see, hang on 1 second. Let me see what Tiffany's saying. Can I repeat the wording you say to people who follow up about helping? Okay, so I'll say to them, hey, this is Brandy, met you at Lisa's Party. Just wanted you to, I'm wrapping up, hey, this is Brandy. I'm wrapping up Lisa's Pampered Chef. I'm closing out Lisa's Pampered Chef Party, and I want to make sure that she gets all her host rewards. She gets 50% off when her friends book from her show. What do you think about gathering a few girlfriends and having a girls' night out? ? And I can post that too underneath this video.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. I usually try to keep, I never want to come across like pushy or anything on a text message either. So I usually just try to, how would I respond? Like if somebody sent me this 3-pager text, how would I respond to that? Would I look at it? And if it's probably more than 5 sentences, I won't. So I try to keep it like that. So yeah, I spend a lot of time like trying to shorten my text. And I use this thing that's called Google Keep. And I like it because whenever I use a text message, I'm like, oh, that was good. And people respond back to it, I can just save it into Google Keep and it's always there. So then the only thing I have to do is go and copy and paste it. So there's a tip, because I would just like, I'm like, oh, what was that text message? Who did I send that to? And then like search for it in my text messages. And then I was like, oh, I can just get this app and start saving all my text messages. So that way I don't have to search through my text. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right, girls. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions, we will wrap it up for tonight. And like I said, plug that 6-week course again. If you guys are in it, stick with it. The first time I did, I know Katie and Adrian said that it took them 3 times to promote to director whenever they did 6-week course. I did Tammy's first one ever, and I promoted that next month. So it is worth it, especially this time of year, because what you're doing now goes over until January and February, and you'll just have a strong February or strong fall. All right, girls. I shall talk to you guys later, and I will post everything that we talked about here in just a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.